Welcome back, everybody. Larry here from Snake River Fly. Just gonna tie up one of our foam flies that we've had around for quite a while. I think this fly probably was from like 10 years ago. Anyway, it's a fulling mill bug. It's the one in Fulling Mills at Golden Stone, and I never got around to doing it in the Salmon Fly. Got busy, had kids, all that kind of jazz. So had a lot of requests, so kind of going to revisit this one, and I've tweaked it a little bit from the original pattern, which was designed basically for a one fly bug up on the Jackson Hole one fly. Great fly, but we never got around to doing it in salmon fly or squala. So anyway, we're getting around to that now, and just going to kind of show you how to do it. This one plays with some foam techniques and some stuff like that, so we'll kind of talk our way through it. Got a new hook from Matsu, love it. Been tying foam dries on it for the last season. Works awesome. In a size 8. Can't tell you the number, but figure it out. Got a piece of, what is it? L7. It's an L7 in a size 8. Got some basic foam, some 2 mil here. I've already sharpened it. This is in orange. And I've made a little tip on there, and I'm going to tie that on my side of the hook. I'm going to do this a little farther back than you would on a standard hook, like a 270 Dairiki, just because this one gets a little long out the front. But I'm tying it on the side, working with the Fire Orange Semper Wax 6. And this one requires a little bit of pre-thinking, moving around. So this is brown, another chunk that I've got. I'm going to tie it on your side. I'm just soft looping around. Playing with this foam, it's a lot about thread control, which is key in all your flies. You know, the better your thread control, better your bugs are going to look. Foam is a great way to practice some of that thread control. And so you can see I've got this thing tied on basically, if you're looking at the hook from the top. I've tied them on the sides, and that's just to make it a little easier in this first process. So now that we've got those foam tied on there, top and bottom, we're going to take a classic Coachman brown Biot, and I'm going to tie it on top of the hook in the gap right in between those two pieces of foam. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate and start spinning this foam. I'm tying on a Renzetti, but you know, any good true rotary vise works great for this. Now I've got everything up on top, it'll end up kind of going like so. So then we'll take our other side, our Biot from another mother. Try to keep it about the same length on this side. Do a little pinch. And loose wrap right there, get the thread placement. The foam kind of tried to creep, I'll just move it. And that gets that placed on there for us. Whoops. Nobody move, nobody move. We got it. All right, we trapped it. Okay, now we can just tie off these little tag ends here like so. Now we've got our brown foam on top, orange foam on the bottom, and we're going to come back and put our thread about 1/8 of an inch ahead of those. We're going to make our first segment on this salmon fly. Just going to sandwich these on top. Looks like I have 2 Biots on your side. Now with my left hand, while I'm holding it with my right hand, I'm going to come over and make that first small segment over the top loose, bring it back around in that same space as we did over the top. So we're keeping our wraps right on top of each other. There's 3 of them or so, and that leaves that tail sticking out the back the way we want. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to repeat this step 4 times. So I'll split my foam, bring my thread in there, jump forward with a couple thread wraps, another 1/8 of an inch or so. Take my left hand or my right hand, sandwich those. My left hand, make my next segment. Go loose. Make sure your thread's placed right. Like so. Excuse me. You can see how we're starting to make these segments. We'll do 4 of them before we put any legs on there. Getting slightly bigger as we go. You know, maybe a touch bigger than an 1/8 inch, at least the same. Loose wrap, pull that tension. When we're on top or the bottom, there's 3. We'll put another one right here. And this will give us our 4th segment. Not that fish can count, but it's just the spacing. Actually, I think there's probably like 7 in the abdomen of a Pteronarcis. Okay, so now we've got those 4 segments built. And if you want, you can just I'll push the whole mechanism back a little to buy myself some room. Like so. So we're at mid hook on that L7. And I'm gonna go ahead with the centipede style Semper leg. Little spiral wrap. This is rubber medium. And the same thing that we did before when we jump ahead. I'll just move my foam out of the way. And now we're gonna place a rubber leg perpendicular to the shank. This is where that thread control is gonna come in. A couple wraps there. Going in front on my side, behind on yours. Now I got a couple going behind and in front on yours. This is where taking your time, getting that thread in there makes a diff. So practice that. This is a great one to do it on. Now I'll make that next segment right in front of this leg. The original golden stone with pulling mill, originally it was Orvis, was tied with bristle legs, not rubber legs. And they worked for a while, but they were hard to get, and they were they had their place. And we decided to go with rubber legs for the final catalog production. But in that old bug, at this point, I'd do some ostrich around the base of these legs to show those gills, and then I would also put a medallion sheeting style flat wing on there. Since we're reliving this fly from 10 years ago, we just alleviated a couple of those. They look really good to the fly tire, but not critical to make the fish or the fly fish. So now we've got some Grizz Frizz in our standard tan. I've selected a clump of that, kind of predetermined size, about half of the size of the wing I want. I'm just gonna do a loose loop, pull it tight, then I'll take this other long end and we'll make a little bump forward like so, and place our thread right there and pull that through to lock that in, that wing, and also give it a bit of a flare when you look at this from the top. You can cut it now or cut it later. Let me get it out of the way for video. Okay, now we've got our first set of legs in, we got our wing in. This piece of foam right here only needs to be out. It's going to make the head. So I've already pre-cut a wing case, if you will, in the back of the piece out front. And I'll just put this on here to cover up these thread wraps on that wing and also give it that wing case that makes them look so stonefly-y. That's a term. Both legs sticking out the back, looks cool. Bottom looks good. This is one of those bugs you do a little cleanup on as you go. All right, so now we're gonna jump forward, lift the 2 pieces of foam up, come in right on the crease of where the orange and the brown foam is. I'm gonna get a couple thread wraps in here, and now we're going with rubber leg number 2. We're gonna tie it in the same way. You can take this piece of foam and stick it back on that hook if you want. Keep it out of the way. I usually just kind of wrestle around it. Got my rubber leg on my side. I'm going to tip this. I'm going to show you if I can. I'm going to take a loop and pinch it. in between my index and Mr. Thummy, and I'm going to pull that in tight to get that first wrap on there to secure that in minimal wraps, right? So now we've got our second leg. We want it to be perpendicular to the hook shank like the last one. So we'll do a couple wraps behind my side, in front your side, and now I'll do a couple X wraps behind my side, front, whoa, your side. Like I said, a few wraps will do it and lock it in, but you really just need to focus on making those wraps. Quality. And tying bugs like this will definitely give you some additional thread control. All right, so now we've got that set of legs in, and we're gonna jump forward because we're making the thorax on this bug. And now I'm gonna tie in that last set of legs, and we want these facing a little bit forward and just enough room behind the hook eye to tie this stuff off. So do a loose wrap here. My thread's spinning the wrong way. Give it a little, whoops, now it's really spinning the wrong way. We'll loosen that. Give a little loose wrap. Ooh, I've got some cork in there. I'll use the pinch technique. Boom. Ooh. Last try, and then we're gonna panic. Got it. In front on my side, behind on your side. Come underneath. Same thing. Whoa, I gotta find it though. Same thing on my side, behind the rubber leg. My side, in front on yours. Try to keep these legs spaced out. You've got your abdomen, sections, segments, you know, and they're all about 1/8 of an inch or so, maybe slightly bigger on the last one. And then what we're doing when we tie these rubber legs in like this and the wing and stuff is we're gonna skip, and this will be one big segment, the thorax from underneath. So we'll do that same sandwich that we were doing earlier. With my left hand, I'm gonna hold them, stretch them forward, maybe just a touch, just try to make it slim. Now come over with my left hand, place my wrap. Want to make sure that wrap's going straight across, not at an angle. Get a couple in there, and then we'll pull that tension. We'll pull that tension down, like so. And that locks that part in. Okay, we're getting pretty close, man. A couple more wraps on there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my antennas on here. This antenna we're using is really cool stuff. We're hoping to have it out in spring of 24. It's a cool little antenna material that I found, or we've acquired. And I'm just going to make a loop on top, tie that on like so, and I fold it in half so it gives me 2 antennas. And, you know, I'd be gluing this as a win if this was a production fly, but this one's just to show you guys how to do it. Now pull that last piece of foam over, hold it down, get a couple wraps in there, and that'll keep that antenna, those antennae pointed out where we want. All right, like I said, we're getting close. Now that we've got this on top, we can clip that top piece a little short, and then I'm going to rotate my vise. And on this bottom piece, I'm going to show you vertically here. On this bottom piece, I'll come in, and we're just going to stretch it a little and then clip it, like so. And that's going to be our tie off. A few more wraps right here just to hold it down. Got the bottom facing you now, just to make it look clean. And now we'll pop some whip finishes in, but we're going to do it underneath this piece of foam. So a couple wraps right here against the eye. And now we'll just get like, it's dry flies, so probably no more than 25 whip finishes in there. So it's been pretty fun to reapproach this fly for sure. I mean, I don't know why I never got around to tying it in salmon fly. I definitely tied some to fish. Yeah, now we've been playing around. I got back and we got a squall version of it too, etc. that we'll send off to Fulling Mills. But really cool bug. A lot of fun to tie. You get a lot of detail for not a lot, you know, put into it. But it's definitely kind of steppy, you know. And so this is basically the bug. You can see underneath, pretty clean, great profile, nice on the side. You know, now what we'll do on this, make it even cooler, is we're gonna knot the legs. And we've shown this move in plenty of tutorials probably, but you can never get enough of it. And with the rubber leg, the true rubber leg, not the silicone, they can be a little bit more picky, right? So I've set that knot and that leg's facing back where I want it. So that's cool. I remember first time I figured out how to set these legs, I think was in Kim Burkholder, in a cabin he rented up in Swan Valley. I had my trailer parked just across the lawn, and man, I'd been tying flies with knotted legs and I couldn't figure out how to get them all. Like his were perfect, you know, and they still are, like the bareback rider and all the flies that he does are just fantastic. But I couldn't get my legs to face the right way, so it wasn't worth it. They all looked pretty dumb. And Ken's like, well, let me show you how I do it. And made a ton of sense, you know. And so like on this leg, the leg closest to me, the back leg, it's pointed a little farther forward than I want. So what I will do is I'll hold the leg and then I'll just run the knot and run it a little bit my direction maybe. Didn't turn out quite how I wanted. So I'll run it towards the bug and I'm just rolling that knot. And that didn't turn out how I wanted. That's cocking it forward. So I'll just keep sliding that knot back until I get that angle that I'm looking for. Same thing on this back one. The angle's right, but I've got the knot way too close to the bug. So I'm just rolling that knot, and now you can see if you look at it on the bottom, that gap between the fly body and the elbow is like right here, and I just slid that knot out this way until I got it angled the way I want. And that's how you do it. This is just a little pair of, gosh, like 4 or 5 inch Dr. Slick. Their standard nipper, a little spring-loaded pair of pliers is usually what I use, but I don't know where they're at, so we're just using this one. We're making a loop, we're pulling that leg through, and then how that one's facing back, I want it to face the front of the fly, just so I'm happy with it. Roll that knot a little closer, do a little twist, do a little set. Went the wrong way, go back, still not doing what I want. We'll pull like that. Oop, went too much. Got to be patient. You're tying these things, they're definitely more of a, you know, it's a fly that you're going to tie on after you've traveled across the country to fish a salmon fly hatch. The fish are going to eat the crap out of it because they have. But a little bit different, right? So the belly's foam, the top's foam. It's really just 3 pieces of foam. You got rubber legs in there. We've got our antennas. We've got some biots. We got some grizz frizz in here for the wing. The wing doesn't lay just flat. It splays a little bit, you know. Then we can just cut these legs, you know, whatever length you want. I usually leave them for the stuff I'm fishing myself. Just leave them whatever length they are and call it good. The fish don't care all that much, but I'm tying one for the good people out there on the Idgy web. I'm going to cut them so they're about the right length, like so. Right, one other cool thing that we did back in the day that is even easier now with the UV deal. First you got to figure out who stole your Sharpie. Up on those little corners how we shaped it, we'll do a couple little dark spots. And you can just hit this with Yeah, a little bit of UV weight repair, whatever your favorite. Everybody's got some epoxy now, right? On their bench. And that'll keep that dark spot there. Gives you a little shine where the eyeballs are. You know, sometimes you do it for the fly fishermen too. But there you have it. So this would be like the guide's choice. Whoop. Boop. It's because it doesn't work. Doesn't matter. The sun will come out tomorrow. So there it is, you know, pour a little Miller Lite on it. Get it gooped up. Probably should have put a little gink in there first, folks. But there you have it. Guide's choice, Golden Stone Salmon Fly version.